Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
If we're all have dirty water, what is the point of anything?
I'm just asking you to be respectful.
So when was the last time you heard something like that at a public meeting? It got pretty heated tonight as people in Bexar County gathered for a town hall. The focus was supposed to be on the Bexar County budget. But as you just heard, the meeting was taken over when someone brought up the Guadalupe Ranch project. That development could add some 2,900 homes to northwest Bexar County. And the issue is that it would require a wastewater treatment plant to be built. And some people fear that that will contaminate San Antonio's water. The Night Team's Avery Everett spoke with county leaders after that meeting.
If we're all have dirty water, what is the point of anything?
I'm just asking you to be respectful.
Even in a sea of full seats, one statement stands out.
The hope is that they'll be responsive to the will of the people.
Dozens of homeowners called on Bexar County leaders Thursday night to try and stop a proposed housing development that would sit on the Helotes Creek watershed. Neighbors have been fighting this project for years.
How in the world could something like this happen? But we're seeing it play out.
If the Guadalupe Ranch housing development were to happen, a wastewater treatment plant would have to be put in place. This plant could release 1 million gallons a day of treated sewage into the Helotes Creek watershed, which helps recharge the Edwards Aquifer. Right now, people here are waiting to see if TCEQ grants the developer Lennar Corp a permit to build the wastewater plant.
I've driven by many times. I don't really know.
But in the meantime, people here want Bexar County to take a stance and stop what they can.
If we're all have dirty water, what is the point of anything?
Wondering what those 3 red letters on Randy's shirt means? PID stands for a Public Improvement District.
The big message tonight is just don't do the PID.
So what does that mean? A PID is a defined area where property owners pay extra taxes for local improvements.
They're making the upfront investment, and this helps them recover some of that cost.
Guadalupe Ranch filed a petition for a PID in 2023 and submitted it to Bexar County and the neighboring city of San Antonio. Commissioner Grant Moody says it hasn't been touched since.
What have the discussions been looking like in Commissioner's Court?
Well, there haven't been any discussions for the last 2 years.
Judge Peter Sakai says he heard the frustration Thursday night, but isn't ready to take a stance.
Right now, I want to make sure that we protect the aquifer. I want to make sure that we are respectful to property rights. I want to make sure that we follow the law.
Shirts and signs show only a small portion of the years-long fight. With decisions looming, neighbors here say they're not letting up.
There's no better justification for a fight. We just cannot not push on with this.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
That meeting was the third of 4 town halls aimed at discussing the Bexar County budget. The next town hall is a week from today, Thursday, August 21st, at Holy Redeemer Hall in Precinct 4. Guilty. The man accused of beating his son so badly that he died has just been convicted. The man's name is Derek Coles. He was on trial for severely abusing his 12-year-old son, Danilo, who died in February of 2022. So now the punishment phase of the trial is underway, and Cole is facing life in prison. A San Antonio police officer is facing charges for driving while intoxicated. San Antonio police say that Officer David McCall turned himself into the Bexar County Sheriff's Office after they issued a warrant for his arrest. He had a blood alcohol content of 0.238. That's nearly 3 times the legal limit. McCall has been with the department for 18 years. He's now on administrative duty, which is protocol while he's under investigation. San Antonio police are also trying to solve a mystery. A 28-year-old woman was shot and killed inside of a downtown apartment. Investigators say that only one other person was there. He's in custody, but they don't know what led up to that shooting. Happened near South Flores and Cesar Chavez. At first, officers thought that the shooting might have been an accident, possibly from a rifle that went off. But hours later, they still don't know exactly what happened. One witness said that he was visiting family when that shooting happened.
We see the crime scene unit right here, so we poked our head and we see all these yellow tape.
I don't know if they're like playing around with them or what, or if you just have them loaded.
Police took several pieces of evidence, including 2 rifles, as they continue their investigation. Now, Bexar County is honoring the 13 people that we lost in flash flooding in San Antonio 2 months ago. County officials have named June 12th a day of remembrance for the victims. Most of them died along a stretch of Perrin-Beitel Road right near Loop 410. And family members spoke about how the events of that night have forever changed them and also their outlook on life.
I love different now. love different now. The people that I say I love, I make time for them now. You know, whereas once upon a time, I don't know, you know, it's easy to get caught up in work and life and hobbies and, you know, kicking it with your friends and things like that. But now, you know, the people in this front row that came with me today, my family, I make time now. Nothing else matters.
So you just heard from Tyson Tufano. He's son of Matthew Angel Tufano, who died after being swept away from Parenvital Road. And he said that his father had celebrated his 51st birthday just the day before that flood. Officials tell us that the proclamation was really just the beginning because they want to address other issues that led up to that tragedy. How would you feel if you didn't have access to a fire department when you needed one? Because 2 volunteer fire departments in Guadalupe County say that they may not be able to operate. It comes down to money. Guadalupe County released a proposed budget. The New Berlin and Lake Dunlap fire departments say that it just doesn't include enough funding for them. The Guadalupe County judge, Kyle Kutcher, told Sarah Costa why the county is maxed out.
After Guadalupe County's recent proposed budget, Lake Dunlap and New Berlin volunteer fire departments say they will have to shut down within a year or so due to low funding from the county.
The equipment that we need for our firefighters, it's not enough.
Guadalupe County Precinct 1 Commissioner Jacqueline Ott says she voted against the proposed tax increase and budget that didn't give the volunteer fire departments what they need. She hopes come September 2nd, when the other commissioners and the county judge vote to approve the line budget, changes can be made using $45 million from a rainy day fund for the volunteer fire departments. Guadalupe County Judge Kyle Kutcher says that wouldn't be sustainable.
I think is an irresponsible way to fund those things. On the very basic level, in our own households, you don't pay for your reoccurring bills out of your savings account. It's a bad way to budget. It's not very safe, and it's not long-term sustainable. If we plan on doing that, I think it's a slippery slope. I think we need to look at either reducing expenses other places in the operational budget of the county to reallocate funding to the volunteer fire departments, or the only other way to do it, which the commissioner already voted against, was to increase taxes.
He says he is grateful for everything the volunteer fire departments have done for the community, but says Guadalupe County is paying 3 times for the same service, paying the volunteer fire departments city contracts with fire departments in Seguin, Schertz, and Cibolo, and funding for their own fire department. A new station was just built, and 2 more will be built in the next 2 years.
I want to say thank you to the volunteer fire departments, but I can guarantee you across the board, we have a lot of county departments that don't have everything they need. We have to keep in mind that the taxpayers are stressed and strained at the same time, and we're trying to find that balance.
Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
An about-face from the San Antonio mayor. Yesterday, Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones and other city council members clashed over the process for submitting council member proposals. Some in the council argued that Mayor Jones had improperly changed one of the main ways for council members to start official policy discussions. Tonight, we know that Mayor Ortiz Jones has backed off. She released a statement that reads in part, quote, "Given the desire to use the current process as a baseline, we look at ways to improve the process. We will revert to the process outlined in the CCR ordinance." The mayor went on to say the following: "I would target a collective review of the CCR process after the new year so that we can implement improvements and add to the CCR ordinance as necessary." End quote. Staying with the city now, San Antonio's next budget could break $4 billion, and that's even as the city tries to tackle the threat of a multi-million-dollar budget deficit. Property and sales tax revenues just aren't keeping up with rising costs. So now the city is facing a $173 million shortfall in its general fund over the next 2 years. To close that gap, city staff plan to shift or cut about $111 million from the fund over 3 years. What does that mean for services that you rely on? City manager promises that those things will not be hit hard.
$111 million over 2 years is a lot, but with a $1.69 billion budget, having to be able to focus on what's important in those core services is what our goal was.
I know what you're thinking. You're wondering what this could do to your taxes. The city is saying that it does not plan to raise the property tax rate. There are so many moving parts to all of this. We invite you to scan the QR code on your screen because that'll take you to that web article. It goes over the city budget. The city of San Antonio is going to begin holding public town halls over the next 2 weeks. And there's also going to be a town hall in each city council district, plus a special town hall that's geared toward younger people. Tomorrow, a federal judge in San Antonio will hear arguments on whether to block a new Texas law that would require the 10 Commandments to go up in every public classroom. Governor Greg Abbott signed the bill into law back in June, and it's supposed to go into effect September 1st. But not if the ACLU of Texas and other civil liberties groups have their way, because they argue the law violates the First Amendment. Also, more than a dozen families are suing 11 school districts, including Alamo Heights, Northeast, Northside, and Lackland ISDs. On the other hand, you have supporters who argue that having the 10 Commandments in classrooms could encourage students to behave better. Texas's redistricting fight may soon be over. Democratic lawmakers say that they're planning to head back to Austin, but first, they want something. They want Republicans to wrap up the current special legislative session, which is supposed to end tomorrow. And they're also asking California Democrats to release their own redistricting plan to balance out the 5 House seats that Republicans aim to pick up in Texas if the redistricting plan goes through. California's legislature is scheduled to meet on Monday to discuss that plan. Popular downtown bar is going to close at the end of the month. Have you ever been to Pat O'Brien's? The owner, Corey Neal, says that business has been pretty tough since the pandemic. As you and I know, everything's more expensive, and all the construction around the Alamo hasn't helped him. So Neal is telling people to come by and say their goodbyes to the staff, some of whom have been working at that bar for more than 20 years. Stay right where you are. Still ahead, Texans from all over the state came together to honor more than 130 flood victims from the July 4th floods. Tonight, Texans honored the more than 130 people that we lost from the floods across the Hill Country over the July 4th weekend. The night team Zaria Oates was there as people arrived in Kerrville to remember the lives lost.
We're at the Coming King Sculpture Prayer Garden in Kerrville, where more than 100 people are being honored after they tragically lost their lives in the Hill Country floods. Individuals and people's families are being remembered by name here, and we talked to a few people who stopped by about why it was so important to them to honor these people here.
Community, it's important, I believe, to sit with people in their grief and in their suffering.
It's quite sobering to walk up and see the whole line of crosses and hearts.
People are still reeling, still trying to cope, so we wanted to be here to bring the presence of Christ.
How does it make you feel to see so many people come out? A lot of these people have told us they don't even know some of the victims.
That's me. Yeah, it's incredible that the work with the crosses and the people and the setup and the dogs. The canine comfort dogs, their ministry is amazing. So.
Moving forward, the owner of the prayer gardens hopes to put in a permanent sculpture for the victims of this flood.
A undulating limestone wall, and then we'll have bronze plaques on this wall honoring those that are lost, that perished, but also we're going to honor the first responders, the volunteers, the churches, the companies, and really try to make a place where everybody can grieve, they can mourn, but they can have a lasting remembrance of one.
We can pray for them by name.
In Kerrville, I'm Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
All those victims deserve to be honored. We'd like to remind you that next Monday we have the Together for Texas concert. It's going to be at the Tobin Center, and all proceeds go to local flood relief efforts. The tickets start at $35. You can catch the concert live, also on KSAT 12 and KSAT Plus. So stay right where you are. 89 degrees out there right now. We're about to give you a look outside. All right, so it's not about what's happening right here so much. It's about what's happening in the Gulf. That's what Adam Caskey's watching.
Yeah, there's a little disturbance out there. Basically, a tropical wave, we call it, a ripple in the flow, and that's developed a cluster of storms today in the Bay of Campeche, and it's headed our way. So let's talk about it. Recent Gulf development, it's a disturbance. There's a chance it could become classified as a tropical depression as we get into tomorrow. But it doesn't matter. Even if it does organize or strengthen a little bit, it's not going to change the impact to Texas and our neck of the woods. That system, overall, here's the key takeaway. No matter what, it boosts our rain chances on Saturday. So here's a look at it right now, or actually of the past 12 hours. You saw it really blossomed earlier today. It's probably going to see another development here of showers and thunderstorms as we get into tomorrow morning and throughout the day tomorrow. But you notice it's running out of real estate here. It's over the really warm waters of the Gulf, and it has some conditions that can help it to organize or strengthen. And the Gulf can surprise us, right? So that's why we don't let our guard down with these, because it can really boost the intensity of some of these storms very quickly, or at least organize them quickly. So Hurricane Center has it at a 50% chance of becoming a tropical depression. Even if it gets a title or even a name as a low-end tropical storm, impact's not going to change for us. That's the key. So don't be scared off if this is given a human name. But the key is this is going to be heading right up the Rio Grande, and more than anything, the upper level energy flowing right up the Rio Grande. And that's important because on the right side of these systems, that's where you get the best rain-making energy. And that's why it's no surprise that you see the heavy rain on the right side of that upper level low. So more than anything, upper energy, tropical moisture moving in. We'll have some tropical downpours likely on Saturday. Not a washout though. Not even everybody's going to get hit. It's just for August, this is a decent chance of rain for us by August standards. Tomorrow, showers, of course, offshore, and then some storms moving onshore near the Gulf Coast, even by the noon hour into the afternoon. Most of it between I-10 and I-37. Can't rule out a few popping up in and around San Antonio and the Hill Country. It's just going to be few and far between. Saturday morning, scattered activity even by sunrise, and then off and on, we'll see some scattered activity into the midday and afternoon. Again, not everybody's going to get hit, but where we see some of the downpours pop up, you could get a quick 2 to 3 inches of rain out of those tropical downpours. Good thing is this system's progressive. It's not going to sit. It's not like 4th of July when the upper energy just sat overhead. These are going to be moving and going to splash and dash, get on their merry way and not sit overhead. So 20% chance tomorrow, 40% Saturday. We take Sunday off. And then next week, more isolated afternoon rain chances pretty much every day, just like what we had most of this week. All right, really quickly, Tropical Storm Erin, just about a hurricane, only a few miles per hour away from becoming a hurricane. It's going to probably get there later on tonight. Tracking westward, likely a Cat 4 as we get into the latter half of the weekend, and then turning northward as a major hurricane, most likely falling between the east coast of the U.S. and Bermuda, staying generally out to sea there. So not threatening the U.S. coastline. 78 in the morning, 91 at noon, 98 the high temperature, still right near 100. And by the way, today we did hit 101, so it's our 14th triple-digit day. Tomorrow, upper 90s for most of us, back to 100 in the typically hotter spots, especially along the Rio Grande. I mean, for August, it's not common to see daily rain chances. I know they're not significant. And by the way, Justin will have the latest on that little area of disturbed weather in the tropics tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you for that, Adam. So now people can plan their schedules accordingly because we know exactly when the Spurs are going to play.
Yes, the 2025-26 NBA schedule's out for every team, including the San Antonio Spurs. We already know that they're going to start off the season against the Dallas Mavericks, so we got some more highlights of their schedule coming up. Plus, in college football, Richard Torres is QB1 at Incarnate Word coming up.
I always get excited no matter what dates fall where. And this year in particular, I was really excited to see that we were starting the year with a national TV game against the Mavs, and then that we had a home opener on October 26th in the afternoon.
Becky Kimbrough is excited for the Spurs' new season ahead in Big Board Sports. Spurs 2025-26 schedule is out, and they posted this cool video on social media to help announce their games. It's the chef making NBA logos out of food along with the dates the Spurs will face those teams. Pretty cool. Now, the Spurs have a young and talented roster led by Victor Wembanyama. KSAT 12 Sports' Mary Rominger was at the Frost Bank Center today when the schedule broke, and she spoke with the Spurs' Senior Vice President of Engagement, and she is pumped.
Absolutely. I think we've seen just a lot of excitement around our roster this season. So I think it's going to be a great year for us.
And now you mentioned the excitement to be nationally televised. What does that do
for the Spurs? What does that do for you and all of the groups that you oversee to get that type of exposure?
Yeah, anytime you can get on national TV, it's a great thing, and fans can look forward to seeing us on national TV. 22 different dates this season, which is a really, really high watermark for us, and also thanks in part to the NBA's expanded TV deals. So we'll be on NBC and Peacock and Amazon Prime, in addition to ABC, ESPN, and of course our local partners here.
October 22nd, the Spurs will tip off the season at the Dallas Mavericks. Their home opener is October 26th at 1 p.m. with Brooklyn. The Spurs will host the NBA champion Thunder on December 23rd before playing at OKC on Christmas Day at 1:30 p.m. The I-35 series in Austin will go down February 19th and 21st against Phoenix and then Sacramento. And the regular season finale is set for April 12th with Denver at the Frostbank Center. For the Spurs' complete schedule, go to the sports page on KSAT.com. The Smithson Valley Rangers are hard at work preparing to defend their Class 5A D1 state championship. Back in late December, the Rangers beat Highland Park 32-20 to win state, the very first one for head coach Larry Hill. Smithson Valley starts the new season ranked number 2 in the state per Dave Campbell's Texas Football. The Rangers are now the hunted, but it's time to reset and get ready for the 2025 campaign.
Yeah, like I said, it's such an amazing time, and it felt like we'd never get over it and we'd be so happy about it. But now it's showing up this early in the morning, and it's kind of making me realize we got to go. We got a new season. We got a whole new story.
It shows us we can do it, and it shows that our players are ready, and we know the preparation we need, and we knew what we needed to do this offseason to get ready and get back after it this season.
I mean, we've been prepared since spring ball for this new year. I mean, we understand that we have a lot of expectations coming off the state run, of course, last year.
There is a reset. You start again. I mean, it's a new set of faces, and even guys who are coming back have different roles in some cases, replacing leaders. There's just a reset, and so we're not really spending any time. We're proud of what has happened, but we're not spending any time rehashing it.
So the Rangers will start play Friday, August 29th at home with Roosevelt at 7 p.m. Richie is the guy at UIW after the break.